So speaking of the UFC, this weekend we have Mr. Swinging Arms, Mr. McGregor fighting. But Anthony has an interesting story. As you guys know, Anthony's a partner, trains here at the gym, and he trained under Bruce Lee's partner and instructor. But he was telling us a story before. Patrick, take it over from here.
Yeah. I was talking with Anthony the other day, and he just gave me this gem of a story, really the origin story of the UFC, an alternate version that went untold. So, Anthony, if you can dive into what the UFC could have been instead of the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu beginning.
Of course, yeah, no, it goes back. I mean, a lot of people don't think about this or speak about it, but UFC 1, Royce Gracie dominated everything. And then all of a sudden, 1993, this whole, everybody wants to train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's the most supreme art. There is really no supreme art. I mean, you should cross-train in multiple things. That was the beauty of what mixed martial arts, the movement was. But going back, Jeet Kune Do, for as popular as Bruce Lee is, it's really interesting that not many people train the system because, Jeet Kune Do is art and philosophy. But, so you take one of Guru Dan Inosanto's student, Eric Paulson. You've heard of him, right? So he's the first American to ever win, I think, light heavyweight champion of shoot wrestling in Japan, right? So now it's catch wrestling. He trained Jiu-Jitsu, he trained Silat, he trained Filipino martial arts, he trained Wing Chun, Western boxing, Dutch style, Thai boxing, all this stuff, the whole mixed martial artist. For some reason, the Gracies didn't match them in UFC 1. I believe if Eric and Royce fought, it would have been a very different turnout. And maybe people would have opened their eyes to, wait, Jeet Kune Do, or the mindset of Jeet Kune Do to really cross-train, dabble in, look at something.
So basically, you're saying that they almost set themselves up, the Gracies, for them to succeed based on that.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't Royce, as great as he is, fight Eric? Why didn't they make that happen? He's so popular now, first American in Japan. This is it's catch wrestling.
For instance.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is a wrestler versus a jiu-jitsu practitioner. Why not? And why not see what happens? Then after that, then boom, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, everybody wants to train it, which is great. Jiu-Jitsu is a beautiful art. It's a very honest art. But again, I think the mindset or the whole acceptance of Jeet Kune Do, because when I speak about Jeet Kune Do, a lot of people are like, well, what is that, Taekwondo? And they don't really get it. But then when I say, it's Bruce Lee's, and everybody knows Bruce Lee. And I can't tell you how many times I repeat myself. I say this over and over again. Yeah. But the problem is everybody wants to be like Bruce Lee. But again, Bruce Lee was saying, be yourself.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. And then people tend to forget that.
It's very interesting because with Bruce Lee, too, most people think karate, they think Taekwondo, kickboxing. They don't think of Jeet Kune Do, and
no, it's crazy.
That UFC moment was so big. Now Jiu-Jitsu is so popular.
Yeah, of course.
Bruce Lee's art is almost lost in a way.
I mean, again, and that has to do with the instructors and practitioners because we teach the Jun Fan material, what Bruce Lee taught.
One more time.
Jun Fan, Lee Jun Fan.
Explain the difference.
So in 1967, when Bruce Lee taught his students, his methods consisted of about 27 different martial arts, and Wing Chun was the dominant. So he had the nucleus. So there, when he passed away, some people just taught the nucleus, but he was all about, we need to evolve this because, people are getting smarter with how to fight. And even in today's world too, with the access that we have, we can't do things 10 years ago. There is people constantly involved with their training. That's what it is. Research. Research and development. That's with anything. You have to get better. You have to take, or even the approach. Even if you look at something 10 years ago, if you have different eyes or you get influenced by something, there could be another way.
Right.
And that's what Bruce Lee was all about. He's like, don't really teach what I'm teaching because this is going to be meaningless in 10 years, or it might not. There might be a better fighter out there.
That's what's so interesting too about with Bruce Lee. Didn't he mention that boxing and wrestling were the two strongest bases for a fighter?
Absolutely. When he came
tell him a story about the Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, when he came to this country, he was looking at Muhammad Ali, who's huge influence, and he's like, wait, I have to move like this man, and that's why our footwork is based on Ali. He's out of box, style, and he knew that sparring brought out the truth. All this magic that you do, I mean, not that everything has its place, but what can you really pull off in the ring?
Right.
Against someone equally matched, you're not here to kill each other. You're regulated, you got gloves on, you can punch, you can kick, you can throw elbows, you can grab. Don't break any bones. Yep. Don't hit somebody, rip somebody's eye out or kill them.
Right.
And let's see if we can go the distance and what works and what doesn't work, or how do you respond under the pressure.
And that's what's so interesting with the UFC today is it's constantly evolving. It's so young. It's only been around for 25 years or so.
Yeah.
So the skill levels are just blowing out of the water, and we're getting to see which martial art is most dominant. Right now, a lot of guys with wrestling backgrounds seem to have an advantage, but
even still, though.
Also, a lot of people, you said about sparring before, a lot of people don't realize this. Bruce Lee still used to like spar and fight. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that.
No, of course. He used to spar and fight, but also what he trained, he mastered his level. Right. Like even you take Wing Chun, he only studied it for 5 years. Now, granted, like to be called a master or whatever, it takes about 20 years, but he studied and he repped the crap out of all the stuff, repetition. Yeah. He owned his level. So, but sparring is the truth. That's why there's a few honest arts. Boxing's one of them, Muay Thai's another, and Jiu-Jitsu. You cannot lie and say, oh, I can box. Okay, let me see your footwork, let me see your handwork, and see what you got.
So absolutely,
yeah. There it is. A very interesting story.
There you go.
Right? I mean,
a very interesting story that.
Yeah, a lot of people. I mean,
I didn't know that. I just learned today. So,
and McGregor this weekend, right? Big UFC fight. Obviously, huge card around him and everything. We'll see which art he can implement to maybe get the win in the trilogy. Everyone's excited to see what style he brings. I think McGregor's going to get it done. Although I do think part of his mystique is gone with a big win. Some of it is going to be back. It's going to be exciting. 50-50 fight.
SIFU?
Yeah, I think it's 50-50. Again, you don't know what happens the day of. I mean, they say like reasons why you lose fights. I mean, one, you're having a bad day. Could happen. Something could happen. Same on the way to the ring.
We all have.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could be prepared and ready to go. I don't know. But I think McGregor wants to win.
Yeah.
From his last. So we'll see if he can keep his cool. I mean, I like to see it go the distance. I'd like to see less grappling, more striking, because that's just more entertaining for me personally.
I'm gonna go for my swinging, drinking.
There it is. Right? He's got the Ric Flair walk down. Big fight tonight. Appreciate that story. That was really cool to hear from you guys.
Thank you.
And everyone go hit follow, subscribe at the Pod Matrix on YouTube, Instagram, Brooklyn Boxing Podcast, and SIFU. Make sure to give a shout out where they can check it out.
It's SIFU_AF. And then I represent also Kong Performance Miami. You can check that out and you see it's like an interesting way to train.
Awesome.
Hit the buttons, if you will. Like and subscribe. And I'm going to tell you why I tell you to say that even though I don't want to.
Thanks, guys.
I am the greatest.